Hello, good evening. This is Romulus back with another video. I hope y'all have had a good weekend wherever you are. I wanted to continue with my story of having dealt with narcissistic abuse. If you don't know any different, it's hard to really differentiate between what is normal and what isn't. And so for me, what was normal, as I mentioned yesterday, was, being dismissed, marginalized, you're too sensitive, that type of thing. And so I didn't know any different. So in terms of dynamic, I was a black sheep. I am the black sheep. And have a golden child sibling. I guess two golden child siblings, and a fourth sibling, who I don't know. I guess is sort of like a flying monkey. I guess. And so as I got older. The intimacy, it just never developed. And so that carries into relationships. And for me, they were just really shallow and superficial. It's weird because if you're someone that's an empath and you're a feeler and you're deep and what's normal to you is to be able to have a deep conversation with someone. To try to do that with someone that doesn't know how to do that is weird and it's awkward. And so I don't doubt that narcs feel things and have emotions. But it's really all about them. It's about the supply they can get from you, and they have no empathy whatsoever. I mean, the decisions, if you think back on the decisions that the narcissists in your life have made, they're just shocking. How they're made without thinking about you, without understanding the impact of their decision on you. It's just really shocking. And and after a while, or at least I kind of grew to just accept it. But then as you get older, at least as I got older, I was like, no, this is not right. This is not how normal, healthy people behave. This is unacceptable treatment. It's abuse. People love to gaslight and create cognitive dissonance around abuse. It's really incredible. I mean, how often do you hear people say, you know what, you're right, that was abusive. It's just, and that's one of the big problems in having a relationship with these narcs is they deny everything. I mean, how can you have a relationship with someone like that denies everything every time? And that's where the character and integrity comes into place. And it's like what Nicole Eggert said. Now, I don't know the truth of what happened. I'll tell you my thoughts in a minute. But Nicole Eggert, she did say something that I really liked and agree with, and that is, all you need to do was apologize. There's a lot of power in apologizing, and there is. There's a tremendous amount of power, and I only think one should apologize for genuine, authentic reasons. But the interesting thing is that when you do apologize, the kind of the side effect of it is it completely takes the steam out of the other person. I mean, it's really, I remember an incident when I was a young man, 21 or something, and it was a work thing, and this guy was really pissed off at me because of something I said or the way I talked to the person's secretary or something. And he was really adamant and up in arms, and I apologized. And he just got silent. And I apologized because it was the right thing to do. But in any event, with the Nicole Eggert Scott Baio thing, one of the things that I noticed that I thought was really interesting, and which was really reminiscent of one or more persons in my family, and that's why I think he's lying. I don't know for sure, but did you notice that at no point, and this happened in my family, one of my family members, this reminded me of it, did something or was trying to obtain something, and rather than just like say the obvious thing, they just either denied it or they didn't address the important thing, related to like doing the right thing. And it's wrong because doing this is wrong or whatever. Well, in the Nicole Eggert Scott Baio instance, and I'm not saying that Scott Baio is not a loving and devoted husband, and I'm sure he's a great father. I just want to say that. That said, I think that the fact that he at no point during his response or rebuttal did he ever say, you know what, that's not the type of person that I am. I would never do that. I would never inappropriately touch a minor, male or female. And, but instead he tried to, I'm not going to say necessarily manipulate, but he tried to use like evidence, because of this, this couldn't have happened. When I think, if he had just said, that's a serious accusation, and that's not the kind of person I am, I would have never done that. And the fact that he didn't say that, to me, speaks volumes. That's just my opinion. And, I may be in the minority, but that's just my opinion. And I understand, his reluctance. Even though the statute of limitations has expired, for a criminal prosecution or to initiate a civil case against him, I understand, not, admitting it. That would have put him in a predicament. And, I'm sure he spoke with his lawyer and his agent, and so on the other hand, rather, I don't agree with Nicole Eggert going to social media. I think what she should have done, and I'm talking about this because I see some narcissistic dynamics in Scott Baio. That's why I'm talking about this. I think she should have like pulled him aside and said, look, what you did when I was 14 or whatever is still with me to this day, and I need closure. I need for you to apologize. Now, a narc will never apologize. And I don't know all the facts about, what communication they did or didn't have, but I believe Nicole Eggert. And I believe that for some of the things I was just talking about, that he did do that, and then her co-star, the guy that was at the press conference, they have credibility. To me, they have credibility, and they're not going to do that if it wasn't true, especially in a litigious society, So, in any event, the whole Nicole Eggert Scott Baio thing reminded me of one or more of my family members, and how they address and deal with a negative situation, and when you don't have character and you don't have integrity, the response or rebuttal it comes across as awkward and unauthentic. It just does to me. It does. And, um, people can deal with the truth. They just want to know the truth. And, at the same time, like I said a moment ago, I mean, I understand he's a public figure. He's still in acting. He has a family to support. He has his reputation. But, in any event, I didn't know any different as I, entered adulthood when it came to narcissistic abuse. And so, I didn't recognize any red flags. And I'm going to talk about red flags in another video as I progress in my story. And I'll fill in the gaps in between. But suffice it to say that when I met the person that I ended up marrying, there were red flags all over the place that I missed. And it was completely consistent with the shallow narrative of the family I grew up in, and things that most people would have said, that's a crappy thing to say. I didn't think anything of it. And now I would. But in any event, that's all I'm going to talk about in this video, and I will get into the next part of my story. When I met the person I ended up marrying, and the red flags, and all the red flags I ignored, and what my experience was like being married to a narcissist, as well as the very difficult time I had with her mother, so my former mother-in-law, who just turned out to be just a really bad person, and I'll tell you some of the things that happened, and and how I should have said, I should have just walked away and said, this, I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with how y'all conduct personal business. All right, so I'll see y'all tomorrow, and you have a good night. Please feel free to comment below, like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.